isolation of gene of interest. Okay, what is meant by gene of interest? As I told you, whichever gene you want to grow and whichever protein you want, that particular gene is your gene of interest. Okay, now when I say isolation of gene of interest, so you all know that the gene of interest starts from enachuna purila. Okay, so where will you get the gene? You'll find your gene in your DNA. Okay, so what you have to do is, first of all, so where is the DNA? DNA is inside your nucleus. Where is the nucleus? Inside your cell. So what I have to do is, I have to collect the sample, break open all your cells, get the DNA, and then you can get the gene of interest from the DNA. Okay, so we're going to see how is that process going happening. Okay, first is, I'm going to write it in a flow chart, okay, and explain you parallelly. Collect the sample, okay. So what do I mean by sample is any source like your blood or body fluids or semen, anything from which you can get your DNA is your sample, okay. So mostly they'll do this thing from blood, DNA extraction from blood, also leaves, plant leaves, okay, or whichever sample, body fluids, anything, okay. So you have to collect your samples first, okay. Then you have a concept called as centrifuge, okay. Centrifuge is something like your grinder. I will not say it is grinder exactly, it rotates like a grinder, okay. So centrifuge is a device, okay. So it will be like this, a small tabletop device. You'll have sockets all over like this. Any lab, you cannot find a lab without a centrifuge because it is very essential, okay. So you will take your sample, that is your blood, in the tubes, okay, and place it on the sockets like this it will be. So you'll be placing all your tubes here, okay. So what happens is that you will spin here, okay. So you'll spin the fluids at very high speed. So you call that as RPM, that is rotations per minute. That's called as RPM, okay. So you'll spin your centrifuge at a very high speed, that is RPM, okay. Now after this, what happens is that during RPM, what happens, the contents present in your blood will start getting separated, okay. It will settle down, it will start getting separated according to the weight, okay. So that is called as density based centrifuge. So the entire centrifuge is based upon the concept of density, okay. So when I take my blood, when I put it in a centrifuge, when I spin it, all my RBCs will settle down, okay. RBCs are all settled down. Then you can find a mononuclear layer here, and then you will find your plasma, okay. I repeat, RBCs, layer full of cells, and then your plasma. So using your pipette, I have to take this layer out and then bring it in a small tube, this layer alone, okay. To this, okay, so first step is you have to centrifuge. To this, after centrifugation, I'll call this as precipitant and the one which is forming above as a supernatant, okay. So I have to add enzymes to supernatant. Supernatant is, I told you, it is the part above, that is the one which is not settling down, which is there in the top layer is your supernatant. So you have to add enzymes. So what enzymes I'll add here is, see, what do you want to extract here? You want to extract your DNA, correct? So except DNA, okay, to digest all other components like your proteins, RNA, okay, all other contents, okay. So except DNA, so I'll add all enzymes like RNAs. RNAs will digest RNA. Protease. Protease will digest proteins. Okay, RNAs, protease, then your trypsin, peptidase. So all these enzymes I will add to digest except DNAs, because if I add DNA, my DNA is also digested, but I want my DNA. So except DNAs, I'll add all other enzymes, okay. Protease, RNAs, nucleotidase, not nucleotidase, trypsin. Trypsin will will actually break the proton between your cells and it will loosen your cells. Okay. Now what happens? All the contents except DNA is getting digested. Okay. Now this again I will centrifuge. So when I centrifuge, okay, in the tube, this tube I mean, okay, I'll add all the enzymes to this tube. Okay. So then what happens is that all the broken cells will settle down and my DNA is formed in the supernatant. I will take this, okay. So after centrifugation, I'll get the supernatant full of DNA. So, but what I will do is, I will add 70% chilled ethanol. I will add 70% chilled ethanol to this. So, what happens when I add this ethanol, I have to keep on rotating my test tube. So, what happens? There will be a formation of your DNA. Like if you do this, what would I say? Okay, it will be forming like a small thread-like structures in the tube. So when you keep rotating it, it becomes a nice ball. Initially, it will be kind of cloggy. So when you keep rotating after adding ethanol, there will be a formation of nice ball kind of structure. That is nothing but your DNA ball. Okay, so why do I add ethanol is that ethanol will remove water and make the DNA visible. Okay, so this process of addition of ethanol and you'll get your DNA. DNA is obtained. So this process of addition of ethanol and spinning your test tube is called as spooling. Spooling is a process of addition of ethanol and getting your DNA. Okay, so now I got my DNA. Okay, but what do I need here is not just DNA, it is my gene of interest. Okay, now from the DNA I have to get the gene, right? So for that we are going to see the process. So repeat this again. To get your gene of interest, first you have to get the DNA. So to get the DNA, whatever is the process we are seeing now. Okay, first is we have to collect the sample, say blood or leaves or body fluids or whatever. Okay, so collect the samples, then centrifuge it after adding the enzyme. So when you centrifuge, all the heavy cells will settle down, leaving the supernatant. In the supernatant, I'll have my DNA, and the precipitate will have all your RBCs, correct? So take your supernatant, now add all the enzymes like your RNase, protease, trypsin, etc., except the DNase. Okay, what will this do is, it will break all the contents except my DNA. Then what I have to do, I have to again centrifuge and then remove the waste, and from the and then I will collect the DNA. Okay, now what happens is that to this collected content, I have to add 70% ethanol. So ethanol will remove water from the DNA. So what happens is, slowly the DNA will start actually getting visible like a thread-like structures. Okay, and then when you keep rotating, it forms a nice ball. This process of formation of DNA by adding ethanol is called as spooling. Okay, so we got our DNA now. So next what we have to get is your gene of interest. So let's see how are we going to get the gene of interest. Okay, so now see, a DNA is a complete package, right? So in that you will have many genes. So you have to identify your gene and get it out from the DNA. So that is what we are going to see now. How can we do that? Okay. Okay. So to get your gene of interest from your DNA, what I am going to do is gel electrophoresis. ஆனா இந்த பக்கம் எழுதுனா மட்டும் தெரிய மாட்டேங்குதுண்ணா பாருங்க தெரியுதா அது okay okay now we are going to see about gel electrophoresis. So this is also called as agarose gel electrophoresis. Agarose. So agar, you must have heard of agar, right? So agar is actually a medium obtained from your sea plankton. Okay, so what they'll have is they'll have this powder, agar powder. Okay, so from that we are going to run the gel, and let's see what happens after running the gel. Okay, so in gel electrophoresis what happens is, see, first of all the charge of the DNA is negatively charged. DNA is negatively charged. So it will move towards the positive end, correct? So this being negative, it will negative will always get attracted to the positive. So this will always move towards a positive. Okay. Now, in gel electrophoresis, I will take this DNA. Okay. Then I will run in a gel electrophoresis. Okay. So what do I do there? Okay, why am I running it in a gel? Okay, what happens in a gel electrophoresis is that the DNA will start moving according to the sizes. Okay, here this is this is a vertical separation, but this is horizontal separation. Here it's getting separated like this based upon your gravity, but here it is like this. It is horizontal separation. Okay, so now what I will do in gel electrophoresis is first take the agar. Okay, so you have to mix your agar with your buffer. Buffer is nothing but a liquid. Okay. So when you mix agar with the liquid, you have something called as casting tray over here. So this is called as gel casting tray. It's a small tray. Okay, so it's a small tray kind of structure, and you will have there is a comb like structure. Just imagine comb. Okay, so this is my comb. It will be like this with equal wells. So I'll just pour this liquid in the tray. That is agar liquid. I'll pour it in this tray, and I will keep this comb like this. See, this is my tray, and I'll keep the comb like this. So it goes like this. It creates the small depressions over here. Okay. Now, and while preparing my agar, I will add an important chemical called as ETBR. It is nothing but ethidium bromide. So it is actually a carcinogen. Ethidium bromide is a carcinogen. You know what is a carcinogen? Carcinogen is something which causes cancer. So this ETBR is a carcinogen. Okay. So I told you, right, take the powder, mix it with the buffer. So to that I'll add this ETBR. Okay. So now what happens is that, okay, my gel, I'll let the setup hold on as such for few hours. Okay. So then what happens? This will be solidified. It will be like a flexible gel. Okay. So liquid it will get solidified. Okay. And you have your wells over here. So I'll just remove the comb off. Okay. So it will make a small depressions. Okay. So into this wells, what I will do is this DNA which I have obtained. Okay. So this DNA, okay, I will add this DNA in these wells. I will add this DNA whichever I have obtained in these wells. Before that, what I will do is I will treat this DNA with restriction enzymes. Restriction enzymes. So this will cut my DNA. See, for example, whatever DNA I got is like this lengthy DNA. When I add it with restriction enzymes, it will cut at specific sites. So what will happen to my DNA? My DNA is like this. It will become like this. So it will cut my DNA into pieces. Okay. So what I'll do, to that DNA, I'll add this restriction enzyme, and I'll add some dye, and then I'll load it inside the wells. Okay. Now this is your negative charge, and this is your positive. So DNA will move towards the positive charge only, correct? So what happens? I'll just switch on the electricity. So then what happens? The DNA over here, see, the pieces need not be of same size. Some might be larger, some might be small. Okay, it will be of various sizes. Okay, so I will start running the gel. Okay, what happens is that according to the size, okay, the one which is lengthier cannot move much, but the small piece can move faster, correct? It is more like a running in a maze. Okay, imagine a maze that is a hurdle jumps and all. Okay, so the person who's little, that is how it will be inside the gel. The person who is little fat or lengthy cannot jump easily, but the one who is small or lean can jump easily. So smaller particles, so the particles will start moving in the gel like this. Lengthier bands cannot move much, but smaller bands can move farther. Okay, along with this, I will run something called as DNA ladder. This is called as DNA ladder. So I know what is the dimension of this. 10. okay, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, or 100, 200, 300. So I know the size of them, the ladder which I'm running, okay. And I have to know the size of the gene I'm going to isolate. I repeat, I'm running the ladder here, okay. I know the sizes because ladder is more like a scale, okay. And so I will be running a ladder, okay. Followed by that, I'll be running this part, okay. And whichever gene of interest I want, I know the size. For example, I should say it is 600, okay. And say this is 100 base pairs ladder. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, somewhere here, okay. So if so what I will do is I'll run the gel, and okay, my gene of interest is 600. So I'll see the band which is straight to 600, okay. So yes, this is my gene of interest. Okay, so this is how I do. I repeat again, okay. So I will just take the DNA, cut it into pieces of various shapes with the help of restriction enzymes, then load it inside the gel, okay. After loading inside the gel, I'll start running the electricity, and this will start moving. Larger pieces will move lesser, smaller pieces can move farther, okay. Now what I will do is, I will run a ladder here, okay, DNA ladder. So with known size, I should know the size of gene of interest. So now comparing with the ladder, I will identify my gene of interest, okay. So this is how I get the gene of interest, okay. And later what I'll do, I'll just scrape it out, okay, and then I will add few enzymes to separate my DNA from the gel components, okay. That process, okay. So I'll repeat, I'll take this band, okay. So this band is attached to your gel, correct? So it of your gel or gel substances, correct? I separate this gel particles from your DNA. Okay, so that I have to do, and then what happens is, this ETBR, ethidium bromide, it is a carcinogen. So in what way this is useful is what we're going to see. Before that, the process of separation of my gene of interest from the gel is called as elution. Elution is the process of separation of my gene of interest from the gel, okay. Now why did I add this ETBR? Where is it useful? What is the purpose? Okay. Ethidium bromide, see, whatever I told you, the bands are moving, you cannot see it under your naked eye, okay. So you have to read the entire thing in an instrument called as UV transilluminator. UV transilluminator. So when I keep my gel inside the UV transilluminator, this ETBR will only give glow to the bands. So ETBR will impact some fluorescence on the bands. Okay, so when I read it in the UV transilluminator, I can visualize my bands in orange color, and gel will be in violet color. So why is that orange color? Is because of your ETBR. Okay, so this is how I isolate my gene of interest. Okay, so agarose gel, see the concentration of when you're preparing the gel. Okay, for DNA there is one concentration. For RNA it is even more concentrated. For proteins it is less concentrated. So according to the material you want to separate, the concentration of the agarose will vary. So followed by that you will do the elution, you will read it, and you will get the desired gene of interest. So with this we are done with the first step, that is nothing but isolation of gene of interest.